Women's World Champion, retaining the title in the third match, the deciding rubber match in a great trilogy. I believe we're gonna have the champion, Athena. Awesome, here we go. What a great match, what a great pay-per-view. A great champion. What a dominant, great run it's been. What a great trilogy and a great main event. Thank you, champ. Thank you. It's great to see you. Questions for the champ?
Hi. So we talked about this the other day in our interview about you made a bunch of money, but you did it. You now have 32 and 0 Ring of Honor competition. So what's next?
I don't know. I'm just very thrilled right now, and it's very hard for me to articulate things. I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying not to be a sad sap. But this meant the world to me. I've never gotten a main event in my entire career on a pay-per-view. And when Tony approached me a couple weeks ago about, like, hey, we're giving you the ball. We're gonna, it meant so much to be given that opportunity because it felt like me and Willow earned something. Despite the fact that she gave me probably my best match in my career thus far, I still came out on top. And as far as what's next, the sky's the limit. I'm looking for more women to step up in Ring of Honor. I'm looking for women in AEW to issue that challenge to the Forever Ring of Honor champion. I'm open to all challengers. It's not a matter of what I do next, it's a matter of who steps up next.
Athena, John Albert fight. In the last few years of wrestling, we have seen women's wrestling come along. We've seen representation come along with wrestling. And tonight we saw two black women main event Ring of Honor paper. I was curious if you had a chance to put that into context for yourself, and what do you think this does for the industry going forward?
I've said it before, like representation is key, right? When I was starting out on the independent scene, I remember being the only African American woman on every show I was on, and they were like, "No, you're that person. You're an African American woman on this show," and it was just a niche thing. And to see how much it's blossomed, it's not about race, it's about your ability and your talent in the ring. It's awesome, and to be given that platform, not only as an African American woman, as a woman, as a performer, and being able to deliver, that's what matters. And everyone that's looking at home, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Middle Eastern, I want everyone to take this opportunity and look and say, I can do it, and I can do anything I set my mind to.
Piggybacking off of both of their questions, your comment about being one black performer on a show kind of struck a chord because Willow made a comment a few years ago about being in the same position. Is that something that you knew about per se, or Tony, maybe you can speak to why you felt this was the right match to put in the main event? Because there's been plenty of women's AEW talent that have wanted that spot. Obviously, that Willow and Athena earned this. So can you talk about why this was the right opportunity and how you feel after the fact?
Yeah, it's great. You want to go first?
Yeah, it was always a thing. Like when I first started off, and I've been doing this for a very long time, working on 18 years. In this business, I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've done dumb stuff. I've done great stuff. But that was a thing, and to see the evolution of women's wrestling, to see us not being the quote-unquote popcorn match, seeing us being able to main event, be headliners across the board, whether it be AEW or ROH or Dark for that matter. We have made that statement that we're not going anywhere, and we're going to continue to bring that spot.
Yeah, I also believe that they earned the position. It was really a great trilogy. I thought the match they had on the second episode of ROH TV. It was actually the main event of the very first taping we did when I started doing the new TV show. I thought it was maybe the best match we've had on the TV show so far. It was definitely one of the best main events we've had. It was a tremendous main event, and it really made me think there was potential for a great trilogy. I thought they had a great match on Rampage in the semifinals of the Owen Hart Foundation Cup. Originally, that match was going to take place a week earlier on Collision, and we actually had to postpone it till the next week because we wanted to make sure Willow was okay after her New Japan Strong title defense in Japan on the Independence Day show, July 5th. So definitely have been a big fan of the rivalry, and to me, it had two amazing matches. There's this amazing potential for a third match, and I really believe tonight the main event of Death Before Dishonor was your best match yet. I think it was in a great title reign with dominant defenses, 32-0 now in Ring of Honor, and this great long title reign. I think this was the best match yet. It was a great pay-per-view main event, and I think it was our best pay-per-view yet. It's no secret it's been a challenging way to get here. Like I just said, Willow getting injured really pushed their second match back in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, which then I felt probably meant we needed to wait another week to announce this match for Death Before Dishonor, because I think we could have announced that match maybe even a week sooner, but I think it was better to make sure Willow was going to be okay to do their match in the Owen Hart Cup, let alone Death Before Dishonor, both. And so there's other challenging things we talked about along the way. I think that was certainly one of the things, but on this pay-per-view, it reminds me of last year Forbidden Door, the original Forbidden Door was one of our best shows, but there was a lot of injuries and issues along the way that came up that changed some of the matches, but also allowed us to put together, even with the changes, one of the best shows we've ever done. And I really believe for Ring of Honor, that's what tonight was one of the best shows we've ever done. It was a great main event, and certainly for a great champion who's, I think, who's had a lot of great main events. It was a great pay-per-view main event, a great show, and it's a great trilogy, to your point, which is why I thought it would be a great match, the rubber match for the world title in the main event. Thank you. Thank you.
Corey Lee with the Wrestling Observer. There was a couple spots in the match that were almost like little love letters to the Women of Honor in regards to who came before. Which obviously that was meant to be in that sense, to kind of thank the people before you coming in. And then also the second thing is obviously what's next? That's a big question because we don't, obviously there is no number one contender. Could there be somebody from Japan that might want to come here to wrestle? Like Julia, would you be interested in wrestling?
Of course.
But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to know your mindset about the little love letters that you kind of did through that match.
So a lot of people don't know this. I actually used to work for Ring of Honor in the way before times. You can go on watchringofhonor.com to see some of those matches. Let me kind of start from the beginning. I ended up having the pleasure of getting to wrestle Mischief in Texas on a show for ACW for the American Queen of Queens tournament. And she enjoyed that match so much, she actually got me into Shimmer and Ring of Honor. So Mischief, basically made Athena a bigger name. Not to mention women like Sarah Del Rey, who was a force to be reckoned with. She wasn't your normal wrestler at that time. She was powerful, she was strong. You have Alexis Lurie, which was the whole reason that Ring of Honor started having women's wrestling, because they saw something special. There were so many other women as well. We even did a shout out to Daphne. Allison Danger. These women inspired me. Sumi Sakai. These women inspired me to be more than just a pretty face. That women could be gorgeous and beautiful, strong and powerful, and go out there and just kick ass. And to me, those women don't get enough credit, right? We talk about the Ring of Honor Championship when that was introduced, and Maria Kanellis, hell yeah, thank you for that. But before then, do you guys remember, Alexis Lurie is Mickie James, a woman that's transformed this industry. Sarah Del Rey, who is now coaching, has transformed this whole industry. I felt that it was so necessary for us to have that love letter to them. Daisy Hayes, these women inspired everyone, and you can see just across across the board. If you go look up just one of these women, you can see how that evolution has turned. And I have to give a shout out to cheerleader Melissa too. Like Mercedes Martinez, Serena D. There were so many more women that I wish we could have inserted that, you know, but like we just felt that it was so necessary, right? We forget sometimes about what came before, and it's so important to see those building blocks, right? See those building blocks and just remember that, like, hey, we need to say thank you to them. So that, yes, that is mine and maybe personally Willow's love letter to pro wrestling. But like, it's a tribute to the original Ring of Honor women, and shout out to Lacey too. A tribute to the original women of honor, right? That we don't get to talk about. Look, as far as what's next, like I'm sitting right here, I'm waiting. Like I can go tomorrow if I need to, right? Like I would love to wrestle Julia from Japan, Kairi Sane. There's so many, Mayu. Like there are so many beautiful women that I just would love the opportunity to wrestle. And like I said, I've never gotten to go to Japan. It's always been a dream of mine, still on the bucket list. So bring them over here and I'll break them and send them back over there.
Hi, Aisha Lomax from Women's Wrestling Talk. Congratulations, great. Along those same lines, about you saying you would like to wrestle in Japan, would love to know, is there a possibility in the future for Ring of Honor to do any kind of programming with possibly Stardom? We've had some talent come and wrestle for Ring of Honor. I just want to know, is there going to be possibly, an event like the World of Worlds or Global Wars or anything like that?
I'm definitely interested in matches with working with other promotions, and I think we've shown that time after time. We want to work with other promotions, and certainly the top women's wrestling promotions around the world, and in particular in Japan, I think have a lot of great stars to offer. So yeah, I think there's a lot of possibilities working with potentially Stardom. Certainly we've already worked with New Japan Strong, and we've actually had the New Japan Strong women's champion with Willow in AEW, and Willow also was involved in that tournament with wrestlers from all over the world who came to fight for the Strong title. So I think there's a ton of potential things we could do that would be really exciting. Definitely a great main event tonight with Willow, and I think there's a lot of great potential opponents now for Athena as champion, and certainly people lining up to try to take the championship away.
Can I have a follow-up question along those lines? How, I guess, back to, you said whoever steps up, right? Whoever steps up, and Willow gave you a run for your money tonight. So what, looking forward, whoever decides to step up, like how do you mentally prepare? How will you mentally prepare?
I mean, I feel like Willow has caught me off guard, especially in the second match when she beat me. Like, she did it fair and square, and I can't deny it. I can say, give you every excuse in the book why it happened, but she beat me. And tonight was a little bit different. I went with a different strategy of having to dig deep because, let's face it, like, I am all over Ring of Honor. Every move that I've ever done is all over watchroh.com, right? So I'm very easily scouted. So tonight was about me going to a different well, digging in deeper than I've ever had, digging through history to find new moves, new advantages. And honestly, Willow still gave me a run for my money. Like, I can't deny that. But at the end of the day, I broke her with a no-face, a pass out with a cross-face, a deadly forearm, if you will, before all of that, and I came out on top. So as far as I'm concerned, Willow's not in the picture anymore. Willow can go on and do whatever she needs to do. I am the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, and I am going to continue to be your forever ROH champion. And this is my time. This is probably the best run of my entire career, and I don't intend to take it lightly. I don't intend to have anyone step through my show, my division, and think that they're better than me. I'm gonna knock them flat on their ass and then send them home crying.
Questions for
We spoke a lot about the historical context of this match. You've been a confident champion, forever champion. Does getting this spot put a bigger chip on your shoulder? What does it do for your confidence now that the moment's, you're living in the moment right now?
I haven't really processed that yet. Like there were several moments where I came backstage and just I wanted to cry because I was so happy because for the first time in my career I did have that main event, and I was extremely emotional because the pressure was on, not just for me but for the division, for the AEW in this division, to show that like women's wrestling matters. And me and Willow, we went out there and proved that tonight. Like it puts a chip on my shoulder, absolutely. Like there was already a chip there, let's be honest. But it's humbling to think that we can go out there and still entertain the fans after all the amazing athletes on Ring of Honor, like across the board, to sit there and still be able to get the crowd invested, still be able to get everyone behind what we're doing, and just be able to entertain people. So, have I processed it yet? Like, I'll probably go to my hotel tonight and have a nice, good, like, happy cry about it. But I'm just immensely happy at the work that we put in because, like, I said it before, you know, we're living up to the legacy that was upheld before we got here while creating our own. Not only that, we're creating the standard for women to come, whether they be in AEW or Ring of Honor. Like, we're setting that bar and just showing the world what we can do.
Congratulations on your win tonight, Athena. Xenia from Zenith the Dead. So you mentioned that tonight's match was your first pay-per-view main event. I was wondering if there's any other milestone that you have still yet to achieve, that you have your sights set on, maybe like a childhood dream in wrestling that you've always wanted to achieve.
Is there anything else I'm looking forward to? I'm sorry.
Milestone.
Milestone. Well, you know, my old girl here is getting kind of lonely. You know, I thought that I was going to win the Owen Hart Foundation Championship or the tournament. You know, like she's getting lonely. She might need a friend. So I will leave it at that, and we'll see what happens.
Final question to Athena. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.